So you're losing in your favorite team-based shooter video game or whatever. Those games would be like CS:GO, Valorant, Overwatch, TF2. And that doesn't even have to involve those games. You could even take any shooter game, really. Like Fortnite. So, if you're losing in these games, I can probably help you out here. Because we all have to slowly evolve our gameplay. And my advice is broad enough to where I can help you out no matter what game you really play. Now, as I say, my advice is broad because it is applicable to basically all these games. Now, you may think, oh, maybe I have to get my aim better. I should go to Kovac or Aim Lab. And yeah, maybe because you're losing because you need to improve your aim game. Or maybe it's like your game sense. Maybe your tactics just aren't working out with you and you really are not making the right play when you should at that point in time. So those are both valid arguments or reasons why you could be not performing very well. But here is something that people really overlook when it comes to gameplay in these shooter games, and that's teamwork and communication. Now, I know what you probably may be thinking, but I play solo, or maybe my teammates are just bad. Well, first of all, when I mentioned team-based shooter games, that means you are never really playing solo in these games. You have somebody with you. And yes, there definitely are bad people in the game, or just people that aren't performing very well. But you should take into account that many people probably aren't doing their absolute best because they haven't been given the transparency that they really need. Because you can't make the right play in a game if you just don't know where others are. And who knows, maybe somebody's teammate knows where an enemy is or what position they should take. So in these team-based games, you really need your mateys. And here's like an adage, like a little war tip. And that's basically just like, work with your teams, dude. Like, work with your mateys. Like, come on. This is a team-based game. You really just can't be alone here. So, I'm just gonna give you some advice on how to not, like, have your team die horribly in these situations. Because if you communicate with your teammates, you can get the dub. You can get the win. You can get the victory royale. Whatever it is, you can win. You can cooperate better to help you win more. And also, like, if you cooperate well in video games, then you can probably cooperate well in just real life in general. Like, if you can convey messages in some game about shooting and defusing bombs, then I think that presentation for your work will probably help you out there too. Okay, so the very fundamental thing about communicating is, well, having a forum to talk to your mateys, your friends. So, there's two forms in these games, these shooter games, and that would of course be like talking with your actual mic, with an actual mic, or using the voice chat. And yeah, there's also comms, but I feel like comms go in together with both of those, but I'm talking about mic and comms, or chat and comms. So, you may feel shy, but come on, dude. If you're playing a team-based game, you're just gonna have to get over your fear of other people and talking to them. I mean, you're gonna have to talk to other people around you. So, if you open up when you play video games, you can probably open up just in general. So, out of the two, the mic is the much better option because the words, it's really hard to type words. Even if you're the quickest typer ever, you really just can't type words on console. Just good luck trying that. And in a PC game, your keyboard is already occupied, so you can't type a bunch. But with a mic, what you say is instantly transmitted. So you spend less dead time because information in these shooter games is super valuable. Something that happened 10 seconds ago may not be valid like right now. So speed really matters. So you really want to get yourself a mic. And it doesn't even have to be a high quality mic. Just get a cheap gaming headset or a beginner microphone. Look, I have a webcam mic. The thing that I use for Quaver gameplay. You see how crummy the looks on that thing are? Imagine the sound. And guess what? People listen to me when I communicate with them in game. So don't use the excuse of a really bad mic, because all you gotta really do is make sure you're not in a loud area and don't eat your mic, but I'll elaborate that on later. You have your mic, so now it's just time to, well, start communicating with others. So you may have been doing this already, and you may not have been doing so well, but I'll give you like basic pointers that will really help you out. So the first thing I'm gonna say is tell people just really quickly about your positions, like by telling where an enemy is or if there's loot. These simple callouts really matter, because these callouts can add up. So these are really simple, really small, but these are like the fundamentals. This is what you really need. But the rest of this is like really just like adding to the cake. But this point is really just like what you see is what you should tell your mateys. But I'll help you out there. Okay, so now that you're giving out like simple comms, you're going to want to collaborate with your team. So if you play like Overwatch, TF2, Valorant, those are games where people have abilities, and every person that plays has separate capabilities. So you want to work with those together. So if somebody has the capability of blocking sight or sending down smokes, then tell your team that, hey, somebody send down smokes, or oh, I'm going to send down smokes. And by doing that, you tell your teammates that we can make a play right now. Because one thing that's really annoying in game is when the battlefield is set for the team, but they don't push in. Because guess what? They're never told to do so. Because when you play these games, people just don't do it until they're told to do so. So you gotta be the one to take the call. And this moves into the third one, and that's take the initiative. You have to be the one to take the main call. You have to be the one to willing to stand up and tell your team. Like, this is something that I really don't like myself, because I don't really like being the person giving out the call outs. I really don't like being like the one person out of 5 people in Valorant like telling the team what's going on. It's really uncomfortable, but by doing that, you just increase your chance of winning by a lot, because when you take the stand to help everybody out, you will probably do much better. So another thing about communicating is you gotta be quick and decisive about what you say. You don't want to hover over any information, and you just don't want to be a laggard and be slow, because what happens is you just created a situation where information is now old and it's not gonna help you out anymore. So you can preclude any bad events if you just tell what's going on right this moment, because if you don't do that right now, then it's gonna bite back later. So what you do in the moment can really happen later on, and that's also just something to do with life. Like, you gotta make the action now, or else something bad can happen in the future. So when you have your comms, you're communicating with people, this is just gonna happen, but you just have to be careful for those types of people. Now, the internet has a banzana of people and their personalities, but where there's gold, there's also dirt, and that dirt is the toxic bad people. So, like, I see in game, there's usually two types of people. There's those inting or the intentionally bad, and there's the people who just don't realize that like something they're doing is just really annoying or upsetting. So there's churlish people, and these are of course are trollers who like team kill. Those are also considered inting. You have people who just throw, like, please, I don't like people who really just give up halfway through. And it's not like the like really sad, it's like the angry types of getting angry and giving up. Like, you're with your team, you gotta help each other out. So whenever you meet intentionally bad people, just give them a good call out. Say, yo, stop that. Like, doing that really matters. And if you have a teammates that also have a mic, you can get them on your side. Because if you want to win, you gotta work with together. And if you convert a really bad, annoying person into an okay person, you just help yourself out and your team out. So while you do that, you also don't want to like destroy the whole team. While you're wrangling with the toxic person, you don't want to take the whole ship down. Maybe a story with it, but like not the whole ship. Just try to keep peace. So don't start a big yelling fight, because then you're just becoming the bad guy. And there's another type of bad person, and that would be what I call as I said, the unintentional people. These are the people with like bad mics. Now, yeah, if you have a mic that's not very high quality, like I suggested that you should get a mic even if it's not that good. You really shouldn't keep your mic like in your mouth or by like a TV, because then you just make discordant noises. That's really not chill. You sound like Wizard Jensen, dude. So just don't eat your mic. So those are the types of unintentionally bad people. Apart from those people, there's also like noobs. You can't do anything about noobs, really. They're new to the game. But please, do not, as I repeat, do not yell at noobs. Don't get angry at them. Why are you doing that? Come on. They're new to the game. You're really gonna draw them back? Like, who knows? That noob can become a really good player. The little bug can become a beautiful butterfly. But you just gotta give them time to grow. You can't squash them now. So, another thing we want to do is you should give critiques onto people. Now, you shouldn't flame people. Flaming is toxic. They'll get angry at your teammates. But simply saying, hey, you should have played that differently. Or, yeah, we won, but we could have approached better. Like, that helps the team out. Because even though people don't like hearing mistakes are the best way to learn and to improve. So, of course, you're not going to be perfect. But if you tell your team that, hey, you can change this up, you can go from a losing streak to getting back that win. Because, like, lots of losses destroys a team's motivation. But one win after being destroyed is all it takes to get you right back up. But please remember, though, that the citadels of friendship can be destroyed by simple insults. And those insults will turn your friendships into rubble. So please, just do not, like, yell at people or get really absurdly angry at them. Because we're all trying to get better at this game. We're all trying to have fun. And you can't revert harm really that much, especially in a video game. Because, like, comms and what you say is basically permanent. It's recorded forever, including this video. So, be careful with what you say. But if what you say is correct and genuinely helps out, then you just helped everybody around you. So, my final and last recommendation is, if you ever are in a situation where you're not like the person that gives out the callouts, and this is completely fine, sometimes being the one to listen to somebody that's giving all of the information or making the plays and telling people, oh, you should rotate here, or oh, you should use your ultimate now. That helps out a lot. And but you don't want to become a servant. You don't want to give off servile traits, because when you do that, you just hurt the team. Because if you're not willing to do things your own way, or at least recommend that you should do things, oh, I play this way, so maybe I should do this. Because if you don't tell people how you play, or how you like something, you can't win. Because if the whole team doesn't know a single person's nuances, then that can be used against you. Because guess what? If that teammate that isn't talking or about his things, then you can just lose. Because guess what? You weren't able to give any advice or comms to him because you didn't know what to do. So that's really it for this mini podcast video, whatever. I hope that this simple stuff was useful. And I know I stuttered a lot, but hey, there's nothing you can really do about that. This is my first time doing this. So I hope that my recommendations will help you climb your elo in whatever shooter you play. And who knows, when you reach your Platinum, Grandmaster, Global, your Fortnite World Cup, there'll probably be people to give you plaudits. And you'll climb very high and progress a lot if you remember to communicate and help your team out.